Hey folks, this is Matthew Zachary, and before we get to the show, I wanted to tell you about another show from Offscript Media called The Cancer Mavericks. It's an 8-part deep dive narrative into the very story of cancer survivorship and the movement that started in the United States 50 years ago. This is not a podcast about the disease of cancer, it's a podcast about the people who made it better for all of us. Please search for The Cancer Mavericks wherever you listen to your podcasts and follow so you don't miss an episode. Thank you.
Big news! The Patients Getting Paid membership community is about to launch. This is a community of people with chronic illness learning to find and create flexible, remote work that accommodates their health. I call us chronicpreneurs. There will be trainings about how to build a website, start a podcast, get health insurance when self-employed, maintain SSDI while making money, and a ton of trainings about alternate chronicpreneur careers like voiceover work, becoming a course creator, digital ads management, social media management, e-commerce, affiliate marketing, patient advocacy, and oh, so much more. The founding members launch will offer the lowest subscription price it will ever be, with a plan to increase the pricing immediately after that launch period, which will only be 1 week. So you need to be on the wait list so you can jump in as soon as I open the doors, because the founding members pricing will only last for 1 week. Want to learn more and get on that wait list? Head over to patientsgettingpaid.com right now. Can't wait to see all of you chronicpreneurs on the inside. Welcome to the FUMS Now podcast show, where you'll gain information, inspiration, and motivation for living your best life with multiple sclerosis. Find us online at FUMSnow.com. I'm your host, Kathy Reagan Young. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the FUMS podcast. I appreciate you hanging out with me again. Today, I'm talking with a musician with MS who just keeps on rocking. It's an inspirational story. But before I introduce you to her, I want to remind you that I send out a great email newsletter every Tuesday called the FUMS 6-Pack that features the top 6 topics in MS from that week. It's full of clickable links to stories, articles, research, etc., all the latest happenings in MS. I curate it all for you. You just get to read the good stuff. Get on that email list at FUMSnow.com/getthescoop. Also, want to remind you that we have a downloadable ebook called Bowel and Bladder Issues in MS by 2 pea brains with potty mouths talking shit about MS, written by an incredible pelvic health physical therapist who's so smart and offers so many great solutions, and me, a true smartass, adding humor to an otherwise humorless subject. Get yours today at FUMSnow.com/ebook. Okay, let's go meet our guest for today. Amber Tuma earned her Bachelor's of Music from Texas Wesleyan University. She's the co-singer and keyboardist of the rock band The Gallows Crow. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in January of 2020, and she's got some great stories and inspiration to offer us all. Welcome, Amber.
Howdy.
Howdy. So glad you're here. We had some technical difficulties getting here, but we're here now. Woo! Yeah. So let's get into it. Let's start with your life pre-diagnosis. What was your life like before you knew you were one of the chosen?
All right. So pre-diagnosis, I was chasing my degree. I have 2 kids, so chasing a degree,
and chasing kids.
Yes. I started that right after my son started school. He started pre-K, and now he's 10.
Oh.
And so it took about 5 years for me to get my degree. But I chased it like a dog chases a car.
You wanted that degree.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Good. And you got it from Texas Wesleyan in music, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's
really the only thing I'm good at.
Well, it sounds like you've got some happy kids, so you're a good mama.
Yes, ma'am. Oh my gosh, I love my kids so much.
So that's 2 things you're really good at, both really cool gigs. Okay, so you graduated from college in December of 2019, and then in January of 2020, Happy New Year, you have MS.
Yeah.
What happened?
Basically one morning I was like, wow, my foot feels mega weird. And then slowly that numbness crawled up my left leg. And I'm like, holy moly. What do I do? And so what I did was I went to a chiropractor because I was like, this has to be something nervy,
right.
you know? And
Pinch
so I went
nerve.
to yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe it's like that one weird nerve, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway. So what happened was I walked in to the chiropractor's office and he was like, you have drop foot.
Oh no.
And I'm like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
What? And so I paid him $80 basically for him to tell me to go to the ER. And so now I'm freaking out. And so my mom and my husband drove me to the ER, and at the ER, I met Dr. Khan. He's my neurologist now. He put my ass in the hospital. I hate being in the hospital.
Me too.
They did crazy MRIs. Like, I hate MRIs. They did the spinal.
Oh, the lumbar puncture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's never do that again.
No, never.
And right then and there, I am lucky to get a quick diagnosis, I think, of MS.
Yeah. Unusual. But right then and there, they said, Happy New Year, it's MS.
Ooh, and that Medrol stuff, not only does it eat your veins, but just ask for the midline if you need it. But
good to know. Yeah, not good stuff. I totally agree. That makes me crazy on a whole, and I'm crazy normally, so that just dials up the crazy. And yeah, I can't sleep. Although I will say my house has never been cleaner because I can't just sit, after the roid rage that I get. It's at dust and stuff. So it's actually really good for my house. I should probably just get a 3-day drip once a year to really deep clean my house. That would probably be a good use of that.
Yeah, but the hot flashes.
I don't get that. I just get I'm pissed at the world and I can't sleep. So then I'm more pissed at the world. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I agree with all these statements, but add hot flashes.
So what were you thinking or feeling or whatever when you learned that you had MS? Like, did you know anything about MS?
Well, my Uncle David had ALS, Lou Gehrig's. Okay. And so I was freaking out.
So you thought they were the same thing or close?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And then mysteriously, my grandmother visited me in the hospital and she was like, my sister had MS. I thought she was just a hypochondriac.
Oh my gosh. You'd never known that before?
No, I never knew. And so apparently I think MS is like, or any neurological disease in my family, I think it's like a family curse. And I'm like,
wow.
But at least it's not ALS because
right. Yeah, that's no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Uncle David. Yeah. So I'm thankful that it's not that. But it's still a pain in the ass.
Yes, it is. I would drink to that, but it's only 3:11. So in less than 2 hours, I will drink to that statement.
What's up, people? Matthew Zachary here. Let me talk to you about Unraveled, a brand new podcast from the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute that gives us hope about the progress of cancer research. And yes, believe it or not, there's actually been a ton of progress. I mean, who doesn't know someone affected by cancer or someone who's donated to cancer research? While that philanthropy is desperately needed, most people who give don't understand what's actually happening in the trenches of cancer research and the impact that has on all of us. It's time to go beyond the headlines with Unraveled. Listen to the stories of doctors, researchers, patients. Learn about the breakthrough science like using genetically engineered T cells to turn a patient's immune system into a cancer-fighting machine. Yes, that really happens. It's not science fiction. These are stories of the people who continue to fight for better research, better cures, and better care for for patients, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Follow Unraveled from the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Are you tired of wasting time making trips to the grocery store, waiting in checkout lines, and overpaying for groceries every week? We thought so. Luckily, there's a better way. Misfits Market takes the hassle out of grocery shopping by delivering fresh, organic produce and sustainable groceries straight to your home at prices up to 40% less than traditional grocery stores. You'll get access to exclusive weekly savings on peak season organic produce, high-quality meats and seafood, and sustainably sourced pantry staples like snacks, pasta, and grains, plus keto-friendly and gluten-free foods. Do your weekly shopping in just minutes with Misfits Market, all with no service fees, membership fees, or commitments. Become a free member today and get $15 off your first order through September 30th. Just go to www.misfitsmarket.com and use code GROCERY15. That's promo code GROCERY15 for $15 off your first order. Misfits Market is not available in all 50 states. For more info, visit misfitsmarket.com.
So, cool of all cool things, you're in a band. And I was in a band another lifetime ago. It was fun, and it was a great creative outlet, and it can be emotionally and physically draining, and you're not leaving venues until the wee hours of the morning. So how are you able to make that work with your MS diagnosis?
I would have to be dead in order to miss a gig. But thankfully, right after my MS diagnosis, it was like, in March, it was like, Corona, everything shut down. And so I was like, well, I'll just sit and write and stuff.
Gotcha. So you haven't run into that just yet?
No. Well,
that hasn't presented a problem.
Right after getting out of the hospital after being diagnosed with MS, I did have a gig. I had 2 gigs actually after being diagnosed. So, and then the COVID happened.
Yes. Good times, good times. So you mentioned in your intake form that you were playing a show at the House of Blues, pretending like everything was fine while you were numb. What happened?
So when I went into the hospital, they discharged me, and then it was right after, like we're talking 5 days after the hospital visit, they let me out of the hospital. I was still numb, and I literally had this gig at the House of Blues, and it was hot because it's Dallas, but I would have to be dead to miss that gig. And so for my keyboard, I do not have a bench yet. So what I did is from the venue, I stole a chair and I just set it up with my keyboard. And of course, my husband is in the band too.
That's nice.
Yes. Yeah. And so he was there too. So he helped me steal the chair so I could sit and play keys and sing. And oh my gosh, it was magical.
But were you totally numb, or parts were numb? What was numb?
I could not feel my left foot at all. Thankfully, I don't need that. Parts of my right foot were kind of tingly, which made the sustain pedal on my keys kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I just pulled it off.
And thank goodness your fingers were workable, right?
Yes.
And,
if anything happens to these.
Yeah. And you're a singer also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that has not affected your voice?
No. Sometimes every once in a while I do get words backwards, but I think it's just my dyslexia and not my MS. But I don't know.
That's interesting. Yeah. I jack up words a lot too. I've been blaming it on MS and age. So whatever. I would imagine both you and your bandmates were concerned about MS popping up at inconvenient times, like right before you go on or while you're on stage. Have you all had that conversation, or do you have a safe word? Can you look at them and go, MS, which means keep playing, I got to lay down or something like that?
golly, I don't know. Like
Well, this is fairly new, and then there was COVID, so I guess you may not have even run into that yet. So I'm telling you, you need a safe word.
Yes. And thankfully my husband is also in the band too. He plays a guitar and he sings too.
That's great.
So, hopefully, I have him there as my
that's huge.
Crutch.
That's huge. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. Have you or your band written any songs about MS or your experience with the bastard?
We are, yeah. Let's just call it that. We are in the progress of producing, and we wrote a song, me and my husband did, and we're in the progress of recording and producing this song called Bad Disease, which is
about MS.
About MS, yeah.
It is Bad Disease. I totally agree. It's a theme song.
Yeah. Well, it was technically written 2 years ago prior to any of this happened. All I did was I took it and I was like, hey, if we rewrite some of these words.
So you made it now about, okay, girl, we are so connected. I wrote a song a long time ago, and then I was diagnosed with MS, and I took the lyrics and I changed them up to be about MS too.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah. How about that?
Like, why reinvent the wheel?
Right. Got the music down, just put in those lyrics.
Yeah.
Make it mean what you want it to mean. Exactly. So yours is called what? Bad Disease?
Bad Disease.
All right. I'm going to link to that in the show notes. Mine is called Wash Your Mouth Out with Hope, and I'll put a link in there for that as well.
That is cool.
So what are your aspirations now? Are you like hoping to make it big in the music industry? Is this your full-time job?
No. I got my degree in music, of course. My goal, what I did before I graduated was I student taught band and middle school band, beginner band at Itasca. So I was teaching before all of this. And so that was always my goal, was to be a band director, teach, little kids how to play. And that would be so cool. But it did derail my career, like, especially with the MS. How do I deal with that? And then COVID, I don't want that on top of MS.
Right.
That would suck.
That would super suck.
And I mean, So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get my career back on track. However, recently I was just in the hospital for Opticneuritis.
Oh, I'm sorry. That sucks. I know what that feels like. It's awful.
Well, it happened so fast. So fast. It's like 1 minute you're like going to do your makeup. Next minute you're like, hey, I can't do this side.
Right.
So it's like,
man.
Yeah, right. It was weird. And then it got
foggy.
Worse.
Oh,
it was like I had a sheet.
Yeah. Over your eye. Yeah. I do know what that's like. Now, did yours hurt?
Oh yeah. It felt like I had a black eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time I had it, it felt to me, I would describe it like, and not everybody knew what I was talking about, which is interesting because I thought everybody had experience with this. But when you have a fever or you have the flu and like it just hurts to touch you and it hurts to move your eyes. That's what it feels like to me. And people would look at me like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm like, really? You don't know what that feels like? Because I thought everybody knew what that felt like. Lucky you for not knowing that. But yeah, I get that. That's awful.
Well, and the MS pain, the body pain, sometimes I'm like, is this MS or is this just...
Right. Life beating me up?
Right.
Yeah, so I know. It is tough to know.
Body pains.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm Cleopatra, Queen of Denial. So I think denying that MS is having any effect on you is brilliant. That's that's the way I live my life.
Yes. And then I emailed, here's the crazy, like, rebellious thing I did. Instead of like calling my neurologist, I emailed him and I was like, can I get away with not being in the hospital? And he was like, he called me up right then and he was like, no, Amber, you cannot. And I was like,
oh, but
yeah,
super careful conservative doc.
Yeah, so I had to be hospitalized.
That's a bummer. Well, I'm sorry about that because nobody gets any good rest in a hospital or good food or any. Right, I know. Yeah, no good. Well, I'm glad you're home now.
Yes.
How about people in your life, family, friends, whatever? How did they treat the news of you having MS?
I still freak everybody out. Like, I was doing Avonex shots weekly, which I am a weenie, and I cannot do it myself.
Oh, yeah. It's hard.
I uncap the needle. It's like it grows like 5 inches. And I'm like,
yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
So I forced my mother to give me my shots. I forced my husband to he's an expert, actually.
Excellent.
Sometimes I wonder how people on drugs,
right?
Needles.
I know. I said the same thing when I first started shooting up. I said I could never be like a heroin addict or anything else that I'd have to shoot up, because I have to get myself in such a mindset to be able to do this.
I practice on bananas, you know. Yeah. I really try. Like, I mean, I can do it if I needed to, but nah.
Yeah.
Ooh, but after this last Opticneuritis relapse thingy, they're going to try me on a new medicine, Kesimpta or whatever. Apparently, I shoot that up in my fanny pack.
All right. Okay. And it's not that often, right?
Right.
Isn't it?
Yeah. The first month you do it a weekly, and then the next month you do it monthly. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
That's a vast improvement, huh?
And it's a smaller needle because it's subcutaneous.
Subcutaneous. Yeah. Good. Excellent. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that, my friend. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story, Amber. I really appreciate it. And I love how you just get on with it. Yeah, I have this, but I also have the joy of music. So I'm just going to keep doing that.
And life doesn't end just because you have MS. It continues rolling.
That's right. It can be a good one. It can be a very good, long, productive life post-diagnosis. You just kind of have to make up your mind to keep living it, right?
Yep. Just don't give up.
Yeah. Amen, sister. I know others hearing this story will be inspired too.
I hope so.
If people want to get in touch with you or learn more about you or your band, I don't even know if I said the band name. It's called the Gallows Crow. So can you describe a little bit about what kind of music? And
we are rock, alternative rock, a little bit of metal. There's also some classical influences, obviously. And it's, me and my husband, we take turns singing. We write music together. We're each other's muses. And if
it's just the two of you?
We have other band members, but a lot of them, like our drummer, he moved away to Utah. So I'm like, no, don't go away. And then we have a bassist who lives not too far away from us. But we are looking for a drummer. Hey, if you play drums and you live in East Texas.
Okay. Shout out all you drummers in East Texas.
Yes. But let's see. The way to find our music, we have a SoundCloud called the Gallows Crow. We are on Amazon, iTunes. We have a Facebook. We have an Instagram. I'm still confused about Twitter.
Stay away from Twitter. It's a scary, scary place over there. They're mean.
Yeah. Well, apparently. So let's just stick with Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
And besides, the Twitter thing is so confusing. And we have a website. If you would like to know it, it's the Gallows Crow Official. And I do have a blog, but I haven't updated it very much. And it talks about everything about 2020 and about MS and everything that went crazy with 2020. So
awesome. Now, just to be clear, though, you have not uploaded the Bad Disease song just yet.
Not yet.
Is that okay? Well, let us know when you do, because I'll post that so everybody can hear it when you finish up with it. Okay.
And I will hopefully next week.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Watch for it on social, everybody. So thanks again, Amber. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your story. But before you go, one of my favorite parts, we here in the FUMS Nation speak to the stupid disease as it deserves, and we tell it FUMS every day. Would you please lead us in our salute to the bastard with middle fingers extended, of course. On 3, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Fuck you, MS.
Woo! Woo! That was a good one. Loved it. Thank you so much, Amber.
Awesome.
Quick shout out to Steve Woodward at podcastingeditor.com for the fantastic work on this podcast, including editing, show notes, and ingenious ideas. If you'd like help with your podcast, whether you're just starting out or an old pro, visit podcastingeditor.com and tell Steve I sent you. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you listening to the FUMS podcast show. Be sure to subscribe to it so you won't miss an episode. You can do that right on the website at FUMSnow.com. While you're there, sign up for the free email list so you'll be among the first to know of any new findings in MS research, new therapies and products, as well as any blog posts and podcast episodes I release. Want to chat with others in the FUMS community? Join us on Facebook at FUMS Now. Thanks again, and don't forget to talk to the stupid disease as it deserves. Tell it FUMS every day.